Peace, God. Peace, peace, peace. What's going on with you, man? That's good, that's good. So look, man. Pull up a seat real quick. Talk to you face to face, you know what I'm saying? So we know what the mission is, bro. We know what the current assignment is. Or at least I would hope that we know what the current assignment is. And the current assignment is waking the fuck up to the greater realization of that which is, nigga, you are God. Here in this human existence, this is a very illusionary state of observation as to what you truly are. Therefore, it was only a matter of time before you would rise to a certain level of conscious awareness to where you would transcend this physical reality that you have been duped into believing that you are limited to. And there's many ways that you've been reduced to this idea that your humanity is the end all be all, when that ain't the case, right? So think about this, bro. Just using the Bible as an example. They say, in the beginning was God, the Word was God, and the Word was with God, right? Something to the effect of, in the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word was with God. What is Word? Word is spoken thought. So in the beginning, there was a thought. Remember, many philosophers before our time have said, the power of the mind is the thing that is generating all experiences. I think, therefore I am. See what I'm saying? So in the beginning, we have this self-sustaining thought process, this self-manifested thought process. It is self-manifested and manifests itself. See what I'm saying? In a double entendre way. It's like asking which one comes first, the chicken or the egg. Well, you got a chicken, then by the very nature of it, you have an egg. But if you have an egg, which is programmed to become a chicken, then by the very nature of it, you have a chicken. So they exist simultaneously at the same time. So where you have the thought process of God, of the conscious awareness, because all it is, it boils down to two things, really. And these are really just concepts more than anything. They're just concepts more than anything. More than it being a specific thing, it is a self-sustained concept. A self-sustained concept that sustains itself. The concept is manifested in two parts: a state of being and a state of becoming. See what I'm saying? A state of being and a state of becoming. That's how it works. There is to be and there is to become, and they work in tandem to manifest the whole. You know what I'm saying? You can look at this as, for me, I choose to look at it as the universal mother and the divine father. The universal mother is the nothing that everything comes from, and the divine father is the everything that came out of nothing. And these two things manifest on multiple planes of existence. Here in this reality, we can attribute it to the two pairs that created us, to which, the mother and the father of humanity, that which sustains humanity as a whole, as a mother and a father. The universal mother is nature, the earth. The divine father is light generated from the sun, which gives us all information to survive, which activates the melanin, which plays into the process of photosynthesis and all of these other different things that sustain our own conscious awareness of what it means to be human. You see what I'm saying? So, in the beginning, there's this thing, this thought process rather, this great mind that has the potential to manifest all things in existence, because it itself is all things in existence. All things that would ever have been in existence is it. It is a byproduct of it. It is a reflection of it. It is a mirrored image. It is a direct image. It is a refracted image. It is a reflected image. It's whatever. You see what I'm saying? But it's all of that. It's all of that. And like I said in another video recently, for me, I don't necessarily encourage anybody to try to take the concept any higher than just being the all. Once you really get to it, once you get to understanding that which happens underneath it being the all, don't really try to go too far above it being the all, at least while you're still in this human existence. I don't encourage that. Just because I don't think that is, I don't think you're going to get the answers that you're looking for, considering the fact that you are still disconnected from your true sense of awareness as to what the all actually has the capacity to be, other than what you can know right here in this physical existence. And maybe you might know what the all looks like here in this physical existence, but like I said, don't try to seek. I wouldn't encourage it. I'm not gonna tell you not to. If you want to, then do that and tell me how that worked out for you. I don't encourage it because I don't think that there's a need to go above it being the all. With that being said, in the beginning, there's this thing that is the all itself, and all things within it are from it, have it within it itself, is manifested as a byproduct of different aspects of what the all has the potential to be, become, whatever. Like I said, it boils down to the state of being and the state of becoming. So the reason why I keep preaching to you that you are God is because if there's this thing that arises in the beginning, this thought process that comes about, and it thinks, therefore it is. And to be honest with you, maybe it don't really have to think any more than it just has to simply be. You see what I'm saying? It don't have to think any more than it has to simply be, and it probably don't have to be any more than it has to simply think. So with that being said, the moment that thing comes into existence, all other things come as a byproduct of it. So then what does that mean for you? And we excluding, because for me, I think everybody's perspective of spirituality harbors some aspect of truth. But for me, if you are the type of individual that you denounce God's existence, I'm not at liberty to say whether you necessarily right or you wrong, but shutting yourself out from the experience of saying God is might be folly on you from my perspective, because to me, I don't know any existence where God does not exist. In fact, if I'm having this experience, that means that God does exist. Now, the bigger question is, what is God? Who is God? How is God? Why is God? Where is God? And considering the fact that at the end of the day, the one thing that we can all sit here and say is universally true for anybody that believes that there is a God. Like I said, this is the exclusion of atheism, because atheism does not believe that the soul exists. That's the biggest premise. They don't believe that the soul exists because they're so focused on what they can physically observe. They can't physically observe the soul to necessarily prove that it exists. So devoid of that information and devoid of that understanding, they're going to sit here and say that this right here, this physical being, is all that ever is and all that ever was. And that's folly on them. Because like I said, one thing we could say for certain, your soul don't die. If you're a Christian, you probably believe in, a definite eternity of existence, where it's like, well, shit, once I pass on, it's either I go up or I go down for all of eternity, if that's what you believe. If you went to the Hindu thing and you believe it's cycles of karma that generate, cycles of reincarnation. If you went to the Buddhist thing, and to an extent you believe in reincarnation as well, with the bigger achievable goal of reaching nirvana in the end once you come to a certain level of conscious awareness of the soul and the very nature thereof. If you went to the Ifa thing, then you understand that, passing on is just a transition to go meet up with what we consider to be the ancestors in the ancestral realm. If you into the whole Islamic thing, which I can't speak too much on what they believe in, other than I know that they too believe that there is an existence that comes after this one that is almost reminiscent of the same concept of heaven and hell, where it's like there's a certain place I go for being devout in my faith versus a place that I may have to go in the scenario that I'm not. So where I'm going with it, I say all that to say this. Your soul don't die. Your body do. As far as we know, one thing that's synonymous across the board for most of these organized religions is God itself don't die. Because like I said, it's a self-sustained, sustaining itself thought process. A state of being and a state of becoming on some greater mental plane that our human minds are not capable of fathoming within this single lifetime, or maybe within a lifetime at all. And so we all need to transition beyond this illusionary state of being that we are in, because we are in a state of being where the body is already pre-programmed to die. There will be a time where I will be here, and there will be a time where I will not be here, but we can't say the same thing for my soul, the same way we can't say the same thing for God. If it always has been, then it always will be. Same thing for your soul. So what the fuck does that mean for your soul? That means your soul cut from the same exact cloth of this cosmic conscious state of being and state of becoming. Your soul is cut from the same cloth, the same way all of our souls is cut from the same cloth in essence. See, I'm preaching to you, and fuck preaching. I'm giving you information that could serve as a benefit to help elevate your own awareness and understanding of self. Knowledge of self should be the fucking goal while you here. Because realistically, that is more than likely the only thing that's going to save you. It ain't going to be Jesus. It ain't going to be Allah. It ain't going to be Olodumare or fucking Oshun or Shango, or it ain't going to be no goddamn whatever else narrative that preaches that it's some sort of external force that's meant to save you. It's not. All of these things are talking about something that is inherently you. It's all talking about something that is inherently you. The thing that is inside of you carries remnants, carries aspects, carries the same amount of potential, power, omnipotency as these very things that you were taught to worship from your very human and ill-informed perception of self. Like I said, in the beginning, it starts with a self-sustained thought process that exists. That it exists because it has to. Not because it needs to, not because it desires to. It exists because it has to. It has to. This is the reason why I say don't try to go above it being the all, because at some point in time you can't really go above that's like the mystery of it. It has to. And just accept that it has to. The same way you really can't understand why your soul is your soul, other than understanding how your soul is your soul. What the soul is, why may not be, or how rather, may not be These might not be the type of questions that you should become so hyper focused on asking, more so than, all right, what is the nature of my soul? If my soul is an individualistic expression of something that's even larger, not saying that the thing that's even larger isn't still my soul itself, why is it this particular aspect of my soul is made manifest having this experience right here? Why? What would be the reason for that? And you need to be willing to test. You need to be willing to dive into your spiritual scientist bag and put some of these things to the test to find out for you. So that way you can be the redeemer of your own soul. Ain't nothing gonna save you outside of you. That's what I'm preaching right now. That's how we get out of here. Sure, are we gonna be able to impact others? Are we gonna be able to help others? Are we gonna be able to be of a benefit to each other? Yeah. But keep in mind, when I started on this journey of elevating my own consciousness, it wasn't because I thought that someday the work that I'm gonna put in gonna turn into this right here. It all started with, this is what I wanted to do for me. This is what I wanted for me. I wanted knowledge of self. I wanted to rise to a higher level of consciousness. I wanted to rise to a greater awareness within my own self. Then once I understand that, it's all me, but it ain't all me. You see what I'm saying? It's all me, but it ain't all me. The same way it's all you, but it ain't all you. At least not in this existence, not on this mental plane of manifestation. No, we know it's not, because nigga, I'm not the only motherfucker in the world. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, what I'm doing now is a byproduct of the work I was willing to do for myself. But if it's all me, the more I wake myself up, the more I wake all of us up. That's not because I need to. That's not because that's my sole designated purpose to. Because if I was saying that that's what it was, then I'd be sitting here too far gone in something that would be a false idea or a false representation of that which is very much an egotistical thing. I'd be sitting here walking around like a fucking narcissist saying, nigga, I'm God only. I'm not the only God. Nigga, you God too. We all God. The motherfucking crackhead sitting outside the gas station asking you for $1 when you pass by, that's God. You see what I'm saying? That's God just as much, because in the beginning, it's a self-sustained thought process that gives birth to all fucking things. And it ain't got to come in one form or fashion, my nigga. It ain't got to be all crisp and polished and old peace beloved and crystal wearing and this, that, and the third. It ain't got to be all that, my nigga. This, you looking at a reflection of God just the same. So with that being said, like I said, bro, the more that I wake myself up, I now recognize that that's the very nature of it, because by waking myself up, if it's all me and I'm connected to the all, if the all is within me, but I'm also within the all, you see what I'm saying? The mind of God has all of us within it, but within all of us is the mind of God itself. Let me say that again. The mind of God has all of us in it. And within all of us also is the mind of God. The state of being and the state of becoming. See what I'm saying? So if I'm waking myself up, inherently, by the very nature of the second law of the universe, the law of correspondence, if I'm waking myself up, then in other realms and to certain extents, I'm also waking up others. This is the reason why, as a conscious community, we always be talking about, oh, you know, we shifting into 5D, or we changing realities. The consciousness of the earth is shifting and it's waking up and it's this and it's that, and that's letting you know that the collective unconscious, not necessarily not necessarily like a hive mind. It's not functioning like a hive mind, but it's functioning like pieces of a puzzle that put together a bigger picture. Your individual piece of the puzzle, your individual slice of God's mental pie might not carry all the same aspects that mine does. But all the aspects that's within your own piece of the puzzle contribute to the same fucking picture that I am also working to understand for myself. So by waking myself up, it almost becomes second nature to want to share this information outwardly. Like I said, not from no ego-driven standpoint to make it seem like I fucking have to. Nigga, I don't have to do none of this shit. I don't have to. I'm doing it because, one, I feel like I want to. I feel like I want to share this information because I also want to connect with other like-minded individuals who can help me elevate just as much as I see myself being able to help them elevate, because that's really the real purpose. It's like we all in this together. There's a certain level of individualistic work, but we go even further as a collective. You know what I'm saying? My dad told me there's this ancient African saying: if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go together. You see what I'm saying? So understand that you ain't necessarily bigger than the program. You got to keep your ego in check that way. When you understand you coming into this God consciousness, keep your ego in check. It ain't just you, nigga. You ain't the only God. You ain't that fucking special. You ain't none of that, right? You ain't none of that. You are special in your own right. You are in control of your own reality. You are the divine architect of that which you can control within this reality. But the only thing that you actually can control in reality is your mind, your emotions, and your actions. You can control only those three things for real, bro. Your thoughts, your actions, your feelings. What gives you the power as God here in this physical existence is the amount of impact and influence that you have once you rise to a greater awareness that just controlling these three things alone has enough power to change and manipulate and reshape life as you see it. That's what gives you the power to be God here in this physical. Now, granted, with great power come great responsibility. So I hope that you being wise enough to sit here and say, there are certain things for me to do, or for me that I desire to do, that's just some human shit. Because 9 times out of 10, if it's a desire for real, if it's a desire, then it's really just some human shit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really, like, for example, God don't need no fucking money. But we all understand that here in this existence, we need to generate some income to be able to have access to a different experience in life, which can then help us do things that would be more beneficial to the godhood that exists within. You know what I'm saying? If I got to sit here and bust my ass for 16, 18 hours out of the day working 2 jobs and shit, what time do I have to be meditating, to be reading, to be studying, to be this, that, and the third, and really elevating my consciousness? What time would I have for that? So at the end of the day, let me use the power that I got within my own godhood. Because God has all things that it needs. That's why God probably really don't have too many desires or wants at all. This is all human shit. That's all ego shit. Ego wants what it wants. Ego wants to look, you know what I'm saying, fly and do all that shit right there, right? Like ego wants that. God don't fucking want that. But I let all this shit serve as a reflection of my own godhood potential, because this helps me identify externally that which I feel and resonate with internally, which is, I am abundance, because it's a thought process. I think abundance. I think and feel abundance.